Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week, which means it's a brand new opportunity for you to do something amazing, and it all begins today. We, of course, have news headlines coming up on this Monday. Have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you guys will be part of my conversation with Dr. Antin. February is recognized as National Cat Health Month. He joined me to talk about ways you can keep your cats healthy and happy. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In national news, fond remembrances for Jimmy Carter after entering hospice. Dozens of well-wishers made the pilgrimage Sunday to the Carter Center in Atlanta as prayers and memories of former President Jimmy Carter's legacy were offered up at his small Baptist church in Plains, Georgia, a day after he entered hospice care. Among those paying homage was his niece, who noted the 39th president's years of service in an emotional address at the church where Carter taught Sunday school for decades. "I just want to read one of Uncle Jimmy's quotes," Kim Fuller said during the Sunday school morning service, adding, "Oh, this is going to be really hard." She referenced this quote from Carter, "I have one life and one chance to make it count for something. I'm free to choose that something. My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I can, whenever I can, for as long as I can." Maybe if we think about it, maybe it's time to pass the baton, Fuller said before leading those gathered in prayer. Who picks it up? I have no clue. I don't know, because this baton's going to be a really big one. Carter, at age 98, the longest-lived American president, had a recent series of short hospital stays. The Carter Center said in a statement Saturday that the 39th president has now decided to spend his remaining time at home with his family and receive hospice care instead of additional medical intervention. In Atlanta, people, some traveling many miles, made the trip to the Carter Center to reflect on the life of the former president on a spring-like Sunday under a sunny sky. The presidential library itself was closed in honor of President's Day weekend, but people were still showing up to walk past the fountains and through the gardens. The Carters have been married for more than 75 years, making American history as the longest married presidential couple. Others took to social media to remember Carter, who served one term after defeating President Gerald Ford in 1976. The Carters volunteered for decades with Habitat for Humanity, beginning in 1984 and continuing until 2020. The former president and his wife, Rosalind, 95, opened the center in 1982. His work there garnered a Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. In more national news, Fetterman draws praise for getting help for depression. When Patrick Kennedy was in Congress, he would sneak in his treatments for substance abuse over the holidays in between congressional work periods, and he refused mental health treatment recommended by his doctors, worried he would be recognized in that wing of the hospital. Kennedy, a Rhode Island Democrat and the son of the late Senator Edward Kennedy, was eventually forced to reveal his struggles when he crashed his car outside the Capitol after taking a combination of prescription drugs in May 2006. On last Thursday, the office of Pennsylvania State John Fetterman, who was elected to the Senate after a bruising campaign during which he suffered a stroke, announced he had checked himself into a hospital for clinical depression. The statement said Fetterman had experienced depression on and off in his life, but it had only become severe in recent weeks. Aides to the senator, who were granted anonymity to speak about private interactions with Fetterman, had become withdrawn, something they had never seen from him. The hospital stay could take weeks or until doctors are satisfied with his progress, one of the aides said. He is not expected to resign from the Senate. In more national news, man recounts home assault amid 6 fatal Mississippi shootings. A gunman authorities say killed 6 people in Mississippi, busted into his ex-wife's home and smashed her boyfriend in the head with the butt of a gun before shooting her in the head. Her boyfriend told the Associated Press over the weekend. The fatal shooting of the 60-year-old in the home she shared with her boyfriend in Coldwater in rural northern Mississippi came a little more than 4 years after her divorce from the man authorities identified as the shooter. The shooter, who Conversations Daily News is not naming, is also from Coldwater. In entertainment news, Richard Belzer, stand-up comic and TV detective, dies at 78. Richard Belzer, the longtime stand-up comedian who became one of TV's most indelible detectives as John Munch in Homicide, Life on the Street, and Law & Order SVU, has died. Belzer died Sunday at his home in southern France, his longtime friend told The Hollywood Reporter. Comedian Lorraine Newman first announced his death on Twitter. The actor Henry Winkler, Belzer's cousin, wrote, "Rest in peace, Richard." For more than 2 decades and across 10 series, even including appearances on 30 Rock and Arrested Development, Belzer played the wisecracking homicide detective prone to conspiracy theories. Belzer first played Munch on the 1993 episode of Homicide and last played him in 2016 on Law & Order SVU. And finally, in more entertainment news, Ant-Man opens big at box office with $104 million. Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe may have gotten off to a rocky start, but Ant-Man is bigger than ever at the box office. Ant-Man and the Wasp opened with $104 million in domestic ticket sales, according to studio estimates on Sunday, easily surpassing the box office debuts of the previous two Ant-Man films. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good morning, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Your vision for yourself can be just as big and amazing as that of anyone else. Do not ever feel as though you are any less worthy of success as the next person. Believe that your Creator wants the very best for you, and it will become that much easier to want it for yourself as well. Go for it. You deserve nothing less. Have an amazing Monday. Dr. Evan Antin is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Dr. Evan Antin joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, because February is celebrated as National Cat Health Month to talk about things we need to know to keep our cats healthy and happy. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Dr. Antin, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it too. Thank you for having me.
So this is an important topic. I was a cat parent myself when I moved. My conditions in the country were not as conducive as I liked when it came to having a cat for myself. But for our audience out there, Dr. Antin, can you share some tips on how they can keep their cats healthy as well as happy?
Absolutely. So something that doesn't get talked about enough, I think, comes to the topic of litter. And so, of course, you want to find a good litter that you and your cat are going to love and that's going to work for you guys. And with that, of course, we want to keep the litter box clean. I recommend doing that on a daily basis. But another thing, when it comes to cats, especially cats in multi-cat households, is finding really, being intentional when it comes to litter box location. And what's important there is that you have them in a place where your cat feels comfortable to do their business. And they can go in there. They're not going to get ambushed by other cats at home or other pets or maybe young children. And, the box, for example, it's in like a corner of a room facing out. So your cat can see everything happening outside the box, and they feel comfortable when they are inside the box. Of course, with general care, we want to stay on top of vaccinations and preventative medicine. And then I'd say, one of the biggest tips, and I'm seeing improvement on a general scheme of things. But still, we have a lot of outdoor cats, and I really, really highly recommend cats stay indoors. There's so many health risks to cats going outdoors, and of course, they can be quite destructive to our wildlife. Every year, we lose billions of wildlife animals because of outdoor cats and feral cats. So those are some of my tips to start that I think are really important for cat owners to be considering on a daily basis.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversation Daily News. Be back to get on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.